Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in here. Round 7 of Grand Prix Cleveland. I'm Brian David Marshall. I am joined by Marshall Sutcliffe, and there on your right, you see Pro Tour champion Mark Herberholz playing against David Ochoa. Of course, David, top 8 Pro Tour Tour de Ravnica, perpetual, gold, platinum pro, just a key member of the Channel Fireball team, and the food advice expert to the Pro Tour.
He's the guy you asked, there's no doubt about that.
So Mark Herberholz has a sweet looking Jeskai deck. Plays with Soul Summons here on turn 2. What's going on with Mark's deck here?
Well, I'm actually looking at David Ochoa's list right in front of me, and I can tell you 3 cards and I'm already in love. Sultai Soothsayer, Sagu Mahler, and End Hostilities are all on the list for David Ochoa. So
a little Bant action.
He went deep, yeah. It doesn't stop at Bant.
Bantai.
There's a swamp in there too, yeah.
Yeah, Bantai.
Bantai. So I'm curious to see what kind of concoction.
I hope he knows this is a Hasbro game because he's playing Bantai. Whisk Away puts a land on top for Mark Herberholz. Gets the Soul Summons Tranquil Cove. Herberholz has a nice looking deck with double Aven Surveyor.
Yeah, you know what? Ochoa's got one too. Oh, he's got a Teamer Sabertooth as well. Wow, this deck is sweet.
Yeah. And the ultimate Aven Surveyor in Herberholz's deck. The 1,000 wins.
Yeah, that is the super. Dromica the Eternal also for Ochoa. So this is going to be a real slugfest here.
So is Ochoa basically just playing not red?
He's playing not red, and he's playing all of his best cards as a result. And the real question here, it looks like his mana base is coming together pretty nicely here. He doesn't have that splash black quite yet, but the real question here is the more consistent Jeskai deck of Mark Herberholz going to be able to outpace David Ochoa's list, which looks a little shaky on the mana as far as he's going to need some time to get things set
He's
up.
actually got a fair amount of, he's got 3 non-basics on this side, 2 more non-basics over here.
For Herberholz?
For Herberholz, yeah. So I think his mana is actually pretty good.
No, his deck looks good. I was talking about Ochoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's Dromica.
Whoa, Dromica, right on time too. Turn 5 Dromica is going to be really tough for Herberholz if he doesn't have an immediate answer for it. We've seen a lot of Smite the Monstresses floating around out there.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing all of their smites to deal with these opposing bombs.
Yeah. Seen a couple double Smite games already. Just like Smite something, Smite. Oh, it's going to just bounce it with Aven Surveyor. Get in for 2 with his Morph. What is that red card he's holding? Is that a Outpost Siege?
For Herberholz?
Yeah.
Let's take a look if he's got one in his list here. Yeah, confirmed. Confirmed sighting of Outpost Siege. So that's going to be really interesting because it looks like this type of matchup is one where David Ochoa's overall power level is going to outpace Herberholz, but Herberholz's deck looks more consistent and has some nice punchers in it too. If he just buries David Ochoa in card advantage with a card like Outpost Siege, then David's going to have a hard time keeping up. But if he can just keep playing Dromica every turn, things should work out just fine for David.
It is Dromica the Eternal.
The Eternal.
So he keeps coming back.
She.
Yeah. Oh. Lining up an attack here. Herberholz sends in.
Possible bluff, but I think this one's actually a Bathe in Dragonfire. I will accept the 2-for-1 if you let me take it here. So the problem is that Ochoa has to actually consider a card like like Sandblast here, because if he blocks, he'll get Sandblasted, but that'll happen if he attacks anyway.
I was just going to say, Sandblast is a problem on either way.
Right, so it's interesting to see if that's a specific card that Ochoa puts him on, then he will block. But unfortunately for Ochoa, that's not what he has. He's going to get a little Dragonfire, and you wouldn't think that would work on a dragon?
That should not play. No. That is a definite flavor fail.
I think Dromica might not be of the fire-breathing variety of dragon, though, and into the bin.
Oh.
How do you feel about this one?
I feel about the land dragon, Sagu Mahler.
Yeah, the ground dragon
has
arrived. So one of the best rares in either set here, Sagu Mahler, incredibly difficult to deal with. especially if backed up by any combat trick or removal spell.
It's such a simple, like deceptively simple card, right?
Yeah.
6 power, 6 toughness, hexproof, trample. Yeah. There are not many ways to deal with this card without like 3-for-1ing yourself.
That's right. We've been seeing a lot of Typhoid Rats in the feature match area. This is another reason why we'll be seeing these. But yeah, Outpost Siege. That is going to eventually be able to give Mark Herberholz enough card advantage to take over and just sort of overwhelm the Sagu Mauler, even just with creatures that can block. The question is, does he have the time to do it? He's at 22 and he's going to face pressure immediately here from the Sagu Mauler.
Is that 1,000 wins that's
could be
morph there?
It could be. That would buy him a bunch of time if it was. He has enough mana to flip it up next turn. It costs 7. This turn he's just going to have to take his lumps though and take 6 drop down to 16.
Could also just be a Jeering Instigator. What does David Ochoa follow up his attack with? Face up Glacial Stalker.
Yeah, so Ochoa's just windmilling the big stuff now because he knows that he needs to get the clock going ASAP on Outpost Siege. The longer the game goes from this point, the worse it gets for David Ochoa. So he needs to keep maximum pressure on Herberholz at all times here.
Gets a free land out of that.
This is the quickest way he could do it. Yeah, he gets a free land draw off it, and that's about the best case scenario for Ochoa is that Herberholz is just hitting more lands. Right now, he really doesn't need them. This is going to be a really interesting turn because 1,000 Wins it's a rare. It's a card that Ochoa might be aware of. But
I like the way he's lining up his mana. Herberholz might have his Jeering Instigator under there.
Okay.
No.
He's going to play a Sandstep Outcast. It feels like racing Ochoa at this point is not likely. Herberholz hasn't been able to attack for the last few turns.
What other big morphs does he have?
Oh, this is interesting too. Ochoa, I believe, just drew a Teamer Charger. If he's got another green card in his hand, that could actually add up to almost a turn worth of damage, as the Glacial Stalker could get trample if it gets chump blocked with something small. And
I think everything might be stepping in the way of the Sagu Mauler.
That could be. It's risky play, but Herberholz might feel like, look, if I can make him use up a bunch of his mana to kill a few of my creatures, I'm going to get more of them. Outpost Siege will eventually take over this game. The question is just if David Ochoa can get in for enough damage before it does. The interesting part, of course, is that the morph sitting there is incredibly ominous, as Herberholz has 5 mana of almost any color, it looks like, that he can flip up. So that morph could be one of, anything. If you're sitting in David Ochoa's seat, it could be an opposing Glacial Stalker. It could be anything. And David decides to just rumble with both. He did not play anything beforehand, so he's got 4 cards in hand and 7 mana available in 3 different colors. So Ochoa is quite threatening himself with these huge creatures, combined with the fact that he could have any number of combat tricks, removal spells, bounce spells, anything like that.
So Herberholz is just taking it there?
He took it. He took 10. So Herberholz is trying to set up a turn where he can finally block. And it looks like he's going to use the rest of his mana to turn that morph face up here. If he doesn't,
then it's 1,000 Wins.
Yeah, and it's interesting from Ochoa's perspective. If Herberholz just does nothing on end step here, he is going to be incredibly suspicious as to what's going on with that morph. Yeah, that's a big red flag for David Ochoa, because now he can flip it up. It's just too late.
He just drew Misfire Adept.
Yeah, he drew Misfire Adept. The problem is, if it is 1,000 Wins for Ochoa, it's now too late for him to react to that information. Once Herberholz untaps his lands, he's like, oh no, that wasn't a 5 mana morph. Now it could be a 7 mana morph, or one of the morphs that you have to reveal a card to as well.
I was just going to say, it could be a Horde Ambusher, which is another card that's in Herberholz's deck.
Yeah. It totally could be one of those two. Dragon's Eye Savants is possible as well. It is a Jeering Instigator like you thought it might be there, BDM. So the problem is Ochoa is at 17. So Instigator's going to get turned face up. And it can steal either of the two creatures on David Ochoa's left. Of course, the Saga Mauler is going to have hexproof here, so it can't take that. So it looks like Herberholz is thinking about what he wants to actually take here. If he takes the morph, he's got 5 mana. He could consider flipping it face up. He gets to look at it as well, though it is a Tamer Charger, I believe. So, uh-oh, that on the stack.
He's like, no, not so fast. Don't touch my cards.
No, don't you dare touch my card. So Ochoa could have a card like
Misfire,
Feat of Resistance.
or Misfire Weaver. That could be his morph.
Misfire Weaver totally could be his morph, and that could allow him to keep...
Or it could also just be a bluff, like, hold on. That hasn't resolved yet. I'm still thinking about it. You targeted my guy. Let me think about my options here.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things.
Which is not a bad thing to do in general when you get to a big point in the game. Then he's like, yeah, okay, you can take it.
Right. Herberholz is like, Herberholz at 6.
Is there a Trumpet Blast? That doesn't even do it, right?
I don't think Trumpet Blast would do it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's exactly lethal if he had Trumpet Blast, but anything gets blocked and that doesn't work anymore. So Herberholz is going to attack here for 8. Yeah.
He's not representing Trumpet. What could be War Flare?
War Flare still only 14 here. And Ochoa's going to block. I mean, remember, Ochoa is the one with 5 mana and a morph.
Right.
You know, like, Herberholz has to respect that possibility as well, that he's just got another Glacial Stalker or whatever under there. This is a very all-in play here for Herberholz. He is going to need something to make sure that he can block again, and it might just be...
He goes to 7. He's still got a Swiftwater Cliffs he can play for free this turn.
True, it was a Charger.
So Tamer Charger, yep. Trades.
This is risky business here for Herberholz, though. Trying to turn this race around. Cliffs, yeah, like you said.
Goes to 7.
Goes to 7. It's a critical point of life there.
He's got the Misfire Adept. And 2 lands, so he's got to find a card here. He's going to chump block the Glacial Stalker.
Yep.
He'll go to 1. And then he'll have 5 powers worth of creatures to try to find a way. He's like, oh no, I don't have that back yet. He's like, yeah, I'm going to cast Enhanced Awareness.
Wow, that's huge here. He could find any number of things that could get him this game. If he could find a bounce spell for the Spirit token, he can crunch with both and force Herberholz to chump block with Misfire Adept.
He's like, now I'll take my Glacial Stalker back.
Thank you very much. And let's see if the Ocho found something here. Both players 6-0.
Yeah. Now bash.
He forces a chump block, but it's going to be the Spirit that jumps in front.
Right. He's willing to go to 1 here.
Yes. Yeah, if Ochoa had a pump spell of any sort there, the game's over either way.
Yeah.
Herberholz can't play around it.
Mark's going to see 2 cards on his next turn, thanks to Outpost Siege.
That's right. Ochoa's done a really good job of making sure that this clock is absolutely as fast as it can be. And I think he's going to put out a couple of more lethal threats here. He can also play on Abzan Sky Captain here, which is yet another lethal threat.
I would, with the Mistfire Weaver, I would kind of want a flyer.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like, what if he just drew Trumpet Blast and some other spell? Just gives both his guys flying.
That's reasonable.
You know, 2 prowess triggers on his Mistfire Weaver. You know, both of them. Nope, that won't do it. I don't think. Oh wait,
Tormenting
it's a
voice.
Tormenting Voice.
This could get interesting. I mean, I think Ochoa is just thinking, look, if he has end hostilities, how do I lose this game? He has end hostilities, I dump my entire hand, he wraths, and then he just takes over with Outpost Siege. So he's going to keep back 1 lethal threat here while still applying massive pressure. Here's 2 pretty big draw steps for Herberholz. He's going to give his Instigator flying.
He does have a War Flare in his deck.
Which I don't think is lethal. Right, it would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it would be lethal. Holy smokes. He didn't hit it, did he?
Oh, wait, is that a Goblin Heel Cutter?
Yeah. That's not enough, though. That gets him in for 6, 7, 8, 9.
He can write into being
10.
Which gets him for 10. He's going to be one short.
Holy smokes. Does he have enough creatures just to play and block at this point?
I don't think so.
Like, he needs to soak up all the damage from the Sagu Mauler. He can, and then he can just chump block the other. So he basically needs to get 6 toughness plus 2 other creatures out. It's going to be tough.
So right into being gets the Mistfire Reaver to 5.
It's also assuming that Ochoa has nothing in hand.
Oh, yeah.
Which, of course, is where Herberholz has to be at this point.
There you get a look at Mark Herberholz. There you get a look at David Ochoa with his luxurious head of hair.
Looks good. I like it.
Oh, with Smite the Monstrous.
Now that it's a 5/5, he's going to go ahead and kill it. He could have killed it at 4/4, but... Oh, God, that was the War Flare on top, though. It wouldn't have mattered on top anyway. That's
Yeah, he wants to keep playing. And he's like, no, I get to see the right into being card. So he wants Mark to reveal his manifest, which is something you have to do.
You do.
And Mark's like, no, it's not a morph, it was a manifest.
Yeah. Which is a logical thing to think if you haven't played much with manifest or something. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
For rules consistency.
You just have to reveal all the face down cards at the end of the game.
Reveal it all.
All right. Checking in on Gregory Orange and Gerard Fabiano. Typhoid Rats for Gregory. I like that. I like Gerard's sequence there. He outlasts the long shot squad to get 2 green out of the Air of the Wilds.
Oh, yeah, you got to milk it.
Yeah. Bear's Companion. Oh, how does it feel, Gerard Fabiano?
Yeah, right.
How does it feel? Get Rakshas's secret in.
Right, so Gerard famously won a GP on the back of that card and proclaimed it one of the better cards in the set. That's a Tarka world render there for Gerard Fabiano, which is going to absolutely crush Gregory Orange's life total in short order if it doesn't get dealt with nearly immediately.
I mean,
6/4 flying trample gets double strike.
And he shows him a Keru Spell Snatcher there. Isn't that where every time we've seen someone play this weekend, we've seen them have Smite the Monstrous?
Yes.
Like a Tarka, Smite the Monstrous.
Yeah. No, we've seen a lot of Smite the Monstrous down in the feature match area already. We talked about it on the lead-in. People are just very, very cognizant of the fact that the bombs matter in a huge way in this format, and you must have answers. Even though Smite, sometimes doesn't find a target for a long time, when it does, it's usually something really good. Wow.
A couple of Jeskai Sages for Gerard Fabiano.
I was just cashing them in, too. I'll have that one, though.
Ooh, Mardu Rough Rider.
That got...
Oh, wow, Rakshas's disdain. He's like, Gerard's like, you think you've seen everything I have up my sleeve? Well, what about my third sleeve?
They never play around it. That is unreal. I think that's the first time I've ever seen Rakshas's disdain in the feature match area for any of the GPs we've covered in this format.
An Outpost Siege. We've seen a lot of those.
That's one of the most Gerard Fabiano cards I've ever seen. He loves these long, grindy games where he just gets to sort of slowly boa constrictor you down, and Outpost Siege really encourages that type of play.
Meanwhile,
don't act like you don't know what that does, Gerard. Typhoid Rats. I'm sure he's played plenty.
Meanwhile, the Abzan Sky Captain's pecking away.
It is. Looks like a Warriors deck here for Gregory. Oh, Gerard loves it. Monastery Flock on the block.
Cashes in his Teamer banner. Gets a bonus long shot squad off of his siege.
Oops. I want to cast that one. A Tarkir got revealed to Outpost Siege.
Okay.
And you don't want to let that go. If you don't play it during the turn, it's gone. Well, maybe I'm wrong. He'd rather Treasure Cruise. Gerard Fabiano, everybody. I suppose he figures he has enough tools to win this game without taking a risky play like playing a Tarkir in one turn.
I like when Jeskai Sage and Sultai Emissary trade. I think that's.
I like that too. Everybody gets a card, kind of.
Oh, here's a Sarkin.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Gerard's deck looks really good.
Yeah, it does. Looks fantastic.
Get in with a rat.
Arc Lightning revealed to Outpost Siege. Kill 2 of your creatures.
The Hungering Yeti.
Kill another one. It is a Hungering Yeti, you're right.
I'm just whittling Greg Orange down. I don't know that I've ever seen Greg Orange not playing blue-white standard control or Esper control.
No. Oh, he still brings the Wrath, though.
But Gerard Fabiano has the cancel.
Of course he does. And that's going to do it. Crux of Fate almost even things up, though. Even then, you know, it's like you get that Crux of Fate off, you wipe the board, and then Gerard just draws 2 cards a turn, and you just fall behind anyway, you know?
Gerard Fabiano well on his way to another day 2 at another limited GP.
Well,
Meanwhile, back to our main cancel and Rakshas's Disdain.
Oh, yeah.
Clinches day 2 there, that's true. So there's one of the cards of Mark Herberholz deck, Monastery Mentor. Oh, by the way, I'm going to play an Outpost Siege to make a token with my Monastery Mentor.
That is ridiculous.
So you know in cartoons when someone sees a lot of money, their eyes turn to dollar signs? You just had like mythic rares appear in your eyes like a cartoon character at the value on screen.
I can't believe it. That's insane.
I actually heard a ching-ching sound come from Marshall.
Just getting to untap with the Monastery Mentor is good enough, and then you slam your other best card that happens to be a non-creature spell. That is ridiculous. He even attacked.
Yeah, well, I mean,
in there.
It was a 3/3.
Yeah, just rumble.
All right.
And when you're playing Outpost Siege and your opponent responds with Obzon Sky Captain, you got to be feeling like you're in a good spot.
All right. Mark's down a game, though. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Misfire Adept off the top.
Plays his land off the siege.
Wow, Mark's hand looks stacked.
He's got a Goblin Heel Cutter.
Jeskai Wind Scout. He's got the
Misfire Adept.
Misfire Adept, and I think the Tyrian Instigator's hiding down there too.
Wow.
This one could be quick.
So he's just going to take his time here.
Yeah, no rush. He's ahead on board, and he has inevitability through the siege, so he can just sit back.
Yeah. Looking for a few good non-creature spells / men.
Yeah.
3 prowess creatures on the board.
Wow.
Because remember, the tokens that you get off of Monastery Mentor have prowess. They're 1/1 monks with prowess.
They are. Yeah, this is going to get out of hand pretty quickly, and that was that Tyrian Instigator down there too for Herberholz. Yikes.
And this is the same situation we were talking about in the other match that we were peeking in on. Even if like David Ochoa finds his end hostilities, that's not necessarily going to let him just take control of the game.
No.
Because Mark is going to be going 2 cards a turn.
Every turn.
Off of the off of the siege.
Yeah, and the problem too is that in the first few turns, you might flip up something that you can't play, so it kind of goes to waste. But once you hit critical mass of lands, that's completely
there's
over.
a Sagu Mauler.
Oh, hello, friend. But yeah, now Herberholz is going to have 6 mana this turn, and he's going to be able to cast effectively anything he gets off of it.
It's 2 lands this turn. So I think we're going to see him play Jeskai Wind Scout and
face down.
Face down, or do you think he just decides to go for the Goblin Hail Cutter here?
Oh, interesting. You could get a ton of damage in with that too. That's a good point.
And he can go Hail Cutter morph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's 9 damage hitting David Ochoa, aka half of his life total.
Yeah, I think David's going to be hard pressed to attack with Sagu Mauler next turn.
Yeah, totally. Sagu Mauler cannot be hit by Heel Cutter, though. That hit right there from Herberholz might have been too much for Ochoa to recover from on its own. Yeah, especially with that.
Face down Jeering Instigator.
Yeah, that ought to do it. Like without an End Hostilities almost immediately here for Ochoa, he's going to be dead in a turn or 2. This is a really bad spot for Ochoa. Herberholz with a fantastic curve here. Mentor into Outpost Siege. Under no pressure. His only hit he's taken is from the Mauler.
It's a big hit.
It was a big hit at the time, but I mean, too little too late, I think.
Doesn't even have the double white.
No, he sure doesn't. Nor he might not even have it in. I mean, that's the thing. We're going deep here. We're like, even if he could cast it, I don't think he wins the game. He would certainly do it. Interesting. Herberholz actually doesn't have red ×2 either.
Yeah, so no, he doesn't.
He actually can't dash and flip up unless he has a untapped red.
He does have
source.
A tapped red source
to
sort of build up for a turn.
Nomad Outpost in hand. Yeah. He wanted to play that last turn, but couldn't if he wanted to curve out the way that he did.
See Andrew Boswell in the background there, coming off of his 9-0 run at day 1 of Grand Prix Miami last weekend. Into the top 8.
Show it's taken a while with this decision.
I think we're going to get a game 3 here.
I would agree with that.
But I see. So it looks like one of the cards that Ochoa is holding is Savage Punch.
Okay, that helps. Probably needs to take down. He's going to take out the morph.
Yeah, he's going to take out the morph.
That's the only blocker. So that means he can get in for 10 here. Is there a way for him to get 4 more? Awaken the Barrel gets him 1 short. So it looks like he's going to have to go on a more delayed plan.
He knows it's a Heel Cutter.
That's right. So if he leaves back the Sky Captain, it means he's going to cast another creature.
Yeah, the Heel Cutter is lethal. Right, unless right there. Okay, there you go. There's a Jeskai Wind Scout. Oh, and gain a life.
Wow. This is a good close one here. Ochoa desperately trying to race this siege. Interestingly, Herberholz did find the mountain there, so he had the wind set up, but it looks like he's going to have to take a turn off. This could get interesting now. The Abzan Battle Priest that was revealed to the Outpost Siege, there's no counters on any of Herberholz's creatures, so he's not going to be able to attack with something with lifelink right away.
Is Ochoa going to win this game?
I would be surprised, but it's certainly possible with Sagu Mauler crunching here. The thing is, the question for Herberholz is just when does he hit the brakes, right? Like once he figures out that he's the one who's behind, then he can just sit back, threaten to block, and
plays
kind of make a
Battle
mess of this
Priest,
whole thing.
Plays a flyer. There are the brakes.
Wow, and this is interesting because Herberholz is completely tapped out. Ochoa's going to have perfect information here. And this is where things can get pretty ugly. If he's got, again, a bouncer removal spell, remember that clears away any blockers on Sagu Mauler and lets the trample damage come through. So Herberholz has completely switched gears from being in the aggressor's seat to now he's trying to leverage the advantage of Outpost Siege through card advantage, and he's going to start blocking.
That Sagu Mauler's so good.
It's amazing. Savage Punch was absurd there.
Yeah.
And so is the land.
The winner of this match locks up day 2, gets the 7-0, means the worst they can do is 7-2, which is the record that guarantees you being able to draft tomorrow, which is what we all come here to do.
Indeed. Can always draft tonight.
It's the bonus drafts, though, that these guys want. They don't want to, they don't want to use their own packs.
Truth.
Pack with everybody, says David Ochoa.
Whoa!
Pack with everybody.
I mean, this makes me think that either he has the win or...
Well, there's only one flyer in play here.
Uh-huh.
So Herberholz has to put enough blockers in front of the Sagu Mauler.
He needs to put 3 power in front of the Sagu, or 3 toughness minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
But that's hoping that Ochoa doesn't have any way to interact with his creature, so he's going to have to put more. So
I don't know. Maybe he can't. I don't know if he can afford to, but
he probably has to. I mean, the interesting thing here is that the Wind Scouts are likely to trade for each other.
Yep.
That puts Herberholz at a virtual 4 life here. And that means that the Mauler could effectively trade for, like, pick 2, right? A Monastery Mentor plus...
Right. He could put the Obzon Battle Priest and the Misfire in the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, pick 2.
Yeah.
That's 2 of the ones you can pick. And they're all excellent cards that need to be dealt with anyway. And it would leave Ochoa still with a flyer in the air against no flyers for Herberholz. So this is fantastic stuff. And Herberholz might even have to take more risk and put even more creatures in front, because if he does that play that we just described and one of his creatures gets killed or bounced,
so it looks like he's putting everybody in front of the Sagu Mauler.
I think he might have to just do that.
Just putting everybody in front of the Sagu Mauler, which is going to leave him with a Mentor token.
Well, one of the other guys will survive.
It'll leave him with one of the other guys. I'm sorry, you're right.
Assuming that Ochoa has nothing.
Yeah.
Order the blockers, sir.
Herberholz is going to go to 4. He can let the Battle Priest live.
Huh?
He can let the Battle Priest live. He has a Smite the Monstrous in the hand.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. If he's got Smite, that's the... I mean, you want a target for Smite. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Now the question is he going to tap mana? No.
Nope. Looks like, yeah. David Ochoa being very helpful to his opponent there.
Yeah, take a 2.5 for 1 all day long there, even if it is for a Sagu Mauler. My real question is, does Ochoa have a follow-up play to keep this pressure up? Because, again, without a strong clock...
Oh, wow, look at that. End hostilities.
Wow. But he was the one with the flyer there. Huh, that was interesting.
1,000 wins.
And he's just going to hard cast it. So Ochoa and hostilities there just to get rid of Battle Priest, even though it can't actually gain life.
And maybe the Smite, maybe what I thought was a Smite was actually the end hostilities.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh.
I can't figure out why he did that. Like, he gets effectively a free attack with it. He attacks with it.
So morph, play a heel cutter for dash.
So he knows about the heel cutter, and he stood to take 6 damage there.
And a soul summons.
Maybe he just didn't want to take the 6. All right, well, let's see. It was a Smite. You did see a Smite, BDM. So let's see what Ochoa's plan was. He's got a Glacial Stalker to play face down, but all of a sudden he's way behind. Like, he now has to block with it.
Well, except that he's looking at 7 on the board next turn.
That's what I said. He has to block with it.
But he can't block because there's a heel cutter coming in.
Sure. He can't flip it up and heel cut though.
He doesn't need to flip it up. He just attacks with the heel cutter and 2 face-down creatures, and that's 7.
But Ochoa does have 4 mana up, so Herberholz might think twice about doing that. Let's see what he does. It's a somewhat risky play because if Herberholz goes for it and doesn't have anything to back it up, which he doesn't.
He's got a right into being.
Oh, he does have a right into being exiled there. Still, can be quite risky.
I'm going to play right into being first. I'm going to take a look.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what's coming up.
Ooh.
A Horde Ambusher.
And an Erishing Cleric, which he's going to keep on top to bolster that life total next turn.
And he can make 2 creatures not block next turn if the game goes.
So Ochoa needs something right now. If he has something right now, he can put himself in a decent spot, but he doesn't.
7 exactly for Mark Herberholz. He hangs on to live at 4, just shoves all of his cards in front of the Saga Mauler and says, I want to live. David Ochoa pulls the trigger on End Hostilities, and Outpost Siege is just too.
It's too much,
too much there.
And of course the Goblin Heel Cutter floating around.
It didn't do much on that last turn. It was just over the course of the game.
I mean, it did. It drew him right into
but over the course of the game, also he's able to just sort of stockpile cards in hand.
Heezy, that's what you call him?
People call him Heezy.
You need to explain that. I thought you sneezed.
People call him Herberheezy, shortened it to Heezy.
Okay.
If you say Heezy, he's going to turn around.
So right now we're watching Heezy versus the Ocho?
Yes.
Heezy versus Webster in our feature match area. I like it.
Yeah.
Heezy.
Mark not necessarily associated in his career with Limited. He's really thought of as one of the great constructed players.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, you said he brewed up the deck that he won the PT with, like it was his.
He did.
deal?
Yeah. It was the original Beach House. So this was Pro Tour Hawaii. He goes there with all these pros. A lot of the people who are on the Pantheon now. I think Yelger was there. Gabriel Nassif was there.
Approximate year.
2006.
Okay, while
this is the the Lightning Helix call that Randy and Mike Flores do.
It was that same tournament?
That same tournament.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the winning play. That
was
the
in the
semis.
semis.
Yeah. So and Mark's there with this group of Pantheon level house of talent, and everyone sort of ended up on one deck, and Mark's like, "You guys are crazy. This deck's not great. I'm going to play this deck," and built like this kind of like red-green beats deck that became known as Heezy Street, and tore up the tournament with it.
And ended up actually just taking the whole Pro Tour down.
Lost in the finals. No, not in the finals. In the semifinals, I think, of Pro Tour Yokohama to Guillaume Wafatapa in a Mystical Teachings mirror. It could be the quarters, but I want to say semis. In a Mystical Teachings mirror. Watched him play one of the greatest games I've ever had a chance to watch against Kai Buddha at Pro Tour Philadelphia, where I know Kai's listening generally, so I hate to say this, but he just worked Kai. Just worked him like a heavy bag. Like it was. He's really one of the great players in the game, and it's just it's been away for a while, and people don't really may have forgotten, but he could, I think, remind them with a little determination.
Now he was playing in San Jose.
Yeah,
he had a team.
He was playing with Land, right? Wasn't he?
I don't know who he was playing with. I just saw him there, and I said, "Who's that guy?" They said, "That's Mark Herberholz." I said, "Oh, Heezy." Oh, must be nice. This guy should be in the Hall of Fame. If he plays an outpost siege after this, I'm just, he's got my vote right away.
Okay.
This is remarkably similar to the last game.
There's an obs on Sky Captain.
Don't do it. Don't you dare do it. He did it. Well.
Attack for 3. Gets Ochoa down to 20.
Okay.
Makes a token.
You didn't say how good he was at limited. He's excellent at this. He seems to have it really well sorted.
I didn't say he was not good at it. I said he's just not. That's not what he was known for.
Well, he should have been playing limited the whole time if he keeps playing like this. What is Ochoa going to do now?
There's a Warflare.
That is such a nasty start because it hits from 2 really good angles.
Yeah.
Like, it applies immediate pressure while ensuring the long game. Like, how do you beat that?
Oh, look, a Bathing Dragonfire.
While Ochoa is creatureless otherwise, though, Herberholz is going to have to consider ambush here. Ethereal ambush. Oh, he doesn't have it.
Attack for 5.
Herberholz considers nothing. Just jams in there. Yeah.
Gets in for 5, makes a guy.
Well.
By the way, he's got a Warflare.
Herberholz proving his point strong about how to start off a game of limited in this format. No doubt about that.
It's an Alpine Grizzly. It's going to Savage Punch. The Monastery Mentor.
Ochoa's not done yet. But honestly, when I see that, I just think, all right, this is going to take a little longer. You know, like he still has a residual 2 1/1 monk tokens with prowess, and he's still just working that outpost siege, never missing a land drop, getting in there.
Yep, attacks here for 5. So drops Ochoa to 10. Still has that. By the way, you know, kind of a big thorn in the side of the end hostilities deck too. Something like a Goblin Heel Cutter.
True.
You're like,
and an outpost siege.
You're like, please play that somehow, even though you have no reason to. Just please hard cast it. Oh.
All right, Ocho.
Another rare heard from.
He says, I got a PT top 8. I know how to play this game. Oh, God. That was Jeering Instigator.
Yeah, Jeering Instigator.
And, of course, it wasn't the one for the siege, so Ochoa is not going to see it coming, though. I don't think it matters anyway.
Yeah,
Herberholz just
he can just go morph. He can just go morph. He can also just go morph flyer this turn.
He can go morph.
He's at 19. He can just take a hit.
He could also just go Instigator, flip it up, take Dramoka, attack. He gets in for 5. He gets to bolster up one of his monks,
which is going to then trade with the Alpine Grizzly.
Or the other monk gets through, or he gets eaten, and he takes 8. He just has so many different ways to do this now.
Yeah, but he can also just go morph, flyer, pass.
Yeah, totally. Morph. I mean, look. You and I could come up with 16 different ways for him to win this game with that hand. Those are all spells except for 1 planes. Like, his whole hand is spells. At least he's finally not ahead on board, technically.
You're always ahead on board if you have an outpost siege.
That's not true. Ochoa beat it, remember?
No, that's true.
Though it wasn't turn 3 Mentor into outpost siege. That he did not beat. He might beat this one.
Okay.
Doubt it, though.
So there's the morph.
Man, he's aggro.
Oh, no, he's going to do it.
He's doing it. I like this guy. He doesn't mess around. Bang, bang. Get a couple of counters.
Yep. I got a 3/3, a 1/1, and you're a flyer.
Right, Ochoa can block the monk and eat it, or he can trade with the bigger monk, but no matter what, he's taking a big hit.
Kind of got to trade with the bigger monk, right?
I don't know. Maybe more important to keep that blocker around. I mean, if he loses his bear here, Dramoka as a blocker doesn't get anything done because of the heel cutter.
Right.
But he's just in one of those spots, BDM, where it's like, you're trying to figure out how you get a percentage here or there, but both of them are 5 or 4%, you know?
Desperately needs a removal spell for that heel cutter.
Among other things.
Yes. Cho is at 4. Plays an Einok guide. Oh, did he forget his?
Herberholz just straight up forgot his siege, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Actually worked out well for him because he didn't reveal 1,000 wins should the game somehow go longer.
No kidding. Now he can dash and play War Flare this turn, which is lethal unless Ochoa has something. Looks like he's going to maybe set up for next turn here. Yeah.
Yep.
He knows how far ahead he is now.
But suddenly he's sort of semi-playing into Ochoa's wrath.
A little bit. I mean, he still has 4 spells in hand plus Outpost Siege, so like he's playing into it somewhat.
Ochoa does not have,
tactic.
and Ochoa doesn't have the second weight for that hostility, so
which is he's kind of used to that at this point too.
So Sultai Skullkeeper.
Here's dash. Dromoka can't attack, and Ochoa has now seen enough. He's not going to make Herberholz go through the motions. I don't know what Ochoa is saying right now, but he's probably a lot nicer than what most people would be saying if that just happened to them.
Mark Herberholz, 7-0, the Pro Tour Honolulu champion, is through to day 2 here at Grand Prix Cleveland. We're going to watch a little Owen Turtenwald versus Willy EDEL. Former Player of the Year, Owen Turtenwald versus 4-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor, Willy EDEL.
Happy to see that Willy made it out.
Turn 3 long shot squad thanks to Whisper of the Wilds. Just a morph on turn 3 for Willy. Oh, wow. He says, I'm going to look at your hand with Dragon Eye Savants and this Ice Feather Raven.
Seems important.
Some sauce, including a supplant form. Valor Stance takes out a Feral Krishak.
Yeah, it looks like Turtenwald just wants to play the Misfire Weaver face up. It loses so much value in the other scenario.
We've seen him do it multiple times.
That was sweet. Dragon's Eye Savants, red zone, no blocks, just to trigger Martyr Heart Piercer. I think people sometimes forget that you can actually attack with the Dragon's Eye Savants.
Oh, look at that, it's another Outpost Siege.
What is this? How is Owen Turtenwald going to beat it now?
He does have a supplant form in his hand.
Turtenwald?
Yeah. Jeskai Elder, Morph. In comes the 6/6 long shot squad. Einok Guide, a Morph from Owen. Dismal Backwater revealed, is that what? Another banner from Willy.
Willy went deep.
He uses the banner to trigger his
Elder.
Jeskai Elder's prowess.
That is one way to do it.
What said Marshall disapprovingly?
No, you do what you got to do. You know, you can't control what you open.
Okay, hit you with those 2.
Pine Walker down. No green mana in sight though.
Another Morph. In comes the 6.
Turtenwald's chipping away here.
Yeah, I don't know what Willy's at, but he can't take much more of that.
He's hit a bunch of lands off of his siege. But I agree with you, BD. I mean, he's going to need to start throwing some blockers in front. He certainly has expendable creatures at this point. Looks like he wants to try to make
he's lining up something. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, he's got some plan for him. I don't want to put 3 guys in front of that.
Right. Turtenwald's trying to leverage a spot and force Willy into making a bad block here. The problem is Willy he knows. So it's like, you know, Turtenwald has to put him in such a corner to make him actually do that. Enhanced awareness for EDEL. Because he hasn't drawn enough cards.
He's like, I just don't have enough cards.
And now he's in chump block mode.
Yeah, he's digging for something. Oh, there's Shu Yun.
Helps a little.
Sort of.
Where the heck did that Sandstep Citadel come from? Didn't think he had green mana. He can now cash in his Mardu banner. So Willy Edel just comboing off here in the feature match area. This will be his second banner cashed in this game if he does.
Shu Yun, the reluctant chump blocker.
Apparently.
All right.
Turtenwald has managed his board quite nicely. I wonder if we're going to start getting library counts on Edel's side anytime soon. That trigger from Outpost Siege is not optional. And he's had enough.
So finally,
triple block with 3 mana available.
Oh, it's 4, right? Isn't it? Oh, no.
Yep, bird mode.
So Icefeather Haven bounces the long shot squad.
That's
okay.
Right.
We knew about that card. We've known that card. We saw on turn 3.
Yes. And they got
gets bathed in Dragonfire.
That should seal things up here, as Turtenwald has no relevant board state left, and even then the long shot squad needed to pick up 3 counters just to get through the Dragon's Eye Savants.
Oh, the Ponyback Brigade. He's like, look at all my morphs.
Important card revealed there. Rite of Undoing was the card that was under the manifest there for Edel. Something that Turtenwald's going to not
We're underway here. Turn 2 Icefeather Haven. Ooh. I love it.
The beat down.
Oh, and Owen, who we saw mulligan, is stuck on 2. Was stuck on 2 lands. Now is a 3rd, but has already taken 6 here from the Icefeather Haven, and now there's a Butcher of the Horde.
Yeah, this can be a very quick game here.
Willie just playing a 5-color deck here.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
We did see all the colors represented. I don't know if he's got spells for all of them, but
Humble Defector. I like the Humble Defector banner turn.
I think he's
and that's the game.
Beating down with it.
Willy Edel takes the match over Owen Turtenwald.